Welcome to ETHDam, to ETHDam, to ETHDam, to ETHDam, to ETHDam.
We're going to be having, I want to say it correctly, Matej talking about AI without the black box. Now, yesterday morning we had an opening about AI that definitely was in a black box. So very interested for this, and so please give it up for Matej.
Thank you, JJ. Good to know the talk's not PG-13, so I can curse like hell, you know. It's not a problem. I'm joking. Let's just see if this works. Extended. This is mirror. Sometimes, okay. We're not there yet. Just give me one more sec. Okay, let's see if this works. Come on. Okay, I'm cutting it out. Okay, cool. Yeah, hi everyone. Thank you for coming here. So I'm Matej, the head of partnerships at Oasis. And today we're going to talk, we're moving slightly away from the cypherpunk privacy, but still we will be talking about confidential compute, private compute. A little bit more on the AI side, which is kind of still the hot topic, also in crypto and AI without the black box. I think it's quite insinuating what we're going to be discussing here. So if you go through a quick outline, we're going to look at the current AI landscape. We're going to speak a little bit about the differences between centralized, decentralized AI. Then we're going to move to the Oasis ROFL framework, and we're going to finish it off with WT3. And I'll talk more about what it is towards the end of the presentation. So current AI landscape, early AI, right? It was already present in the 90s. It was called more machine learning. Now machine learning is kind of more of a subset of a broader AI field, right? But we are reaching now that tipping point where we can see AI being everywhere, right? So we have everybody using LLMs for different tasks. We see now agents coming in, you know, taking over tasks for people. The people saying, you know, that the tech companies are laying off people because they can do so much with AI. So I think we are at that point where we can see broader adoption of just general AI tech. But we can also see that we have the power concentration coming into the hands of the few, right? We have the acceleration of that compute power and capabilities coming to Google, Anthropic, OpenAI, Meta. And because of their capabilities, everybody else basically getting pushed out of the way. But there are alternatives, right? We are building the decentralized options. They are in development. But I think there's still a little bit of a lack of understanding from the user perspective why use decentralized options, right? If that just works, why go the decentralized route? And if we look at, if we can just do a quick comparison between the two, right? Centralized AI side, as I said, dominated by the large tech companies. And you have the data, compute power, development talent in the hands of the few. Of course, there are advantages to that model, right? You have economies of scale, right? They have access to data. They have rapid development, but at the same time, you have the disadvantages, which are basically all to the detriment of the user, right? You have data privacy concerns, you have monopolies over AI, and then that enhances the risks of bias of how are those LLMs, what are those LLMs feeding you, right? And the tech companies, they don't really care usually, right? They prefer to look at the new AI features than care about the data privacy of the users, right? But we do have the decentralized AI alternatives, right? Which is removing the single point of failure by adding transparency, verifiability, and users are more in control of their data, right? Obvious advantages, control of data, enhanced data privacy, and of course, less potential for bias. But there's always a trade-off, right? With potentially slightly lower performance. There's slower coordination between all the decentralized projects building, you know, and the lack of standards also doesn't make it easier to cross-integrate. But we need to keep that focus on the user, right? Personal control over consent, individual choices, you know, they have their data ownership, the transparency, so They have clear visibility into their data use and the decision making. And of course, in the end, there's also value recognition because personal data is valuable, right? And currently users are not getting any cut in that economy, right? So including the users in the data economy is definitely something that we'd like to see moving forward, right? And the decentralized AI landscape isn't small at all. This kind of landscape overview was done end of last year, and I think right now it's probably triple or quadruple this, right? But it still holds true to the main players in the space. You have different fields, right, from confidential computing, development platforms, decentralized compute, agents are a very big topic. You have training, AI oracles, algorithms, gaming, like everywhere. AI is everywhere now. And if we look at what Oasis is doing here, right? We started off back in 2018 as a layer 1 blockchain, and we had this unique layered architecture with native layer 2s. We went mainnet back in 2020, and smart privacy was always at the core, from the beginning in our minds. We started with a more Rust-based private runtime, and then we switched to Sapphire, which is the EVM-compatible confidential layer, to better serve just the developers and the whole crypto ecosystem. And right now, we're focusing on ROFL. ROFL, it's a runtime off-chain logic framework, or rolling on the floor laughing, whichever it's easier for you to remember. But yeah, it's the latest tech that we're working on. It leverages TEs for security paired with Sapphire for on-chain verifiability. It basically allows, off-chain components to seamlessly communicate with the on-chain rail, so you have full composability through the whole stack, and you have flexible computation, right? Because we know blockchains are quite limited in their compute, right? But this enables non-deterministic applications that blockchains can handle. How ROFL works, we have a very nice table here that our engineers put together. I'm not going to go through this because what ROFL does is obfuscates away all of this, right? So you don't have to think about this. And if you look at a simplified view, this is what you kind of need to know, right? And you have very simple commands, Oasis ROFL build and Oasis ROFL build verify to do all of this, right? So it enables basically off-chain compute to interact with external services plus the on-chain logic. And if we look at kind of the three main pillars, right, it does TE provisioning. The Oasis nodes provide the IntelliJ FTDX TEs for ROFL applications. It does the on-chain registrations of ROFL apps, right, and the smart contract integrations. So next steps for ROFL. Currently, it's on mainnet with supporting TDX. Intel TDX is a type of a TE, right? But right now, developers still need to provision their own trust execution environments, and we're building a ROFL marketplace, or maybe a more commercial term would be Oasis TE Cloud, where it's going to be compute providers coming into the marketplace and providing compute services. So developers only need to create like a Docker Compose file, put it on the market, or select a compute provider, and then they have their ROFL app running, right? Next is also going to be ROFL app templates for like some standard use cases. We're going to create a template so it's even easier for the developers or even users to deploy them. We're going to see that more on the agent side of things, how to make it easier for people to deploy their own personal agents so they don't need to rely on third-party stuff. And GPU support is also coming, so you're going to be able to connect GPU compute for more intensive stuff paired with TDX. And speaking of agents, right, we do believe that there's going to be a rise of the agents, and there's a lot of industry momentum here. We saw, I think it was mentioned by JJ that, yeah, he saw a lot of scammy agents on Solana towards the end of last year, and yeah, there was a big craze around the agents, but those were probably more like, more the chatbots on Twitter, right? And yeah, devs had full control of the wallets, so they could, basically rug anytime they want. But even though there was a lot of hype, there's still some substance there. We see agents getting traction, in the traditional space as well. Jensen Huang from NVIDIA, he predicted that 2025 will be the year of the agents, and we see Anthropic build the MCP framework, right? So we believe that, yeah, agents are here to stay. They're going to be present in Web 2. They're going to be present in Web 3, crypto. And I actually believe that agents will be potentially a solution to solve the crypto UX problem. Because if you're connecting Web 2 and crypto agents, right, users can potentially stay with the UX that they're used to, but at the same time interact natively on blockchains, right? Which simplifies all the onboarding that we're trying to fight all of these years already. And this brings me to WT3. So what's WT3? It's the agent you don't need to trust. This is our latest agent that we launched actually just last week in Dubai. And I'll take you a little bit back why we started WT3. We saw that there are many different crypto trends in trends in crypto through the last few years, but there's one constant, right? And that's DeFi. And we still believe that DeFi is one of the pillars of crypto that's going to stay, right? You had metaverses, you had NFTs, you had gaming crazes, but everything kind of died down, right? But DeFi is still there to stay, right? I think at its peak at 2021, we can see here, it reached like 200 billion TVL. Right now, it's around 100 billion, but I think we're going to go way higher. RWAs are not even counting here, because DeFi Llama doesn't include them in the calculations, but if we include RWAs, the number will be even higher. But we can also see that AI is an emerging crypto trend, and this is also, I think, one that's going to stay just because of the cross-compatibility with the, let's say, more traditional ecosystem. And there was a new term that was coined, right? DeFi AI. Not sure how people say it, right? But it is, we believe it is a winning combination for crypto, right? Because there's the participation in DeFi is still relatively low from the users. We saw how many users were participating, let's say, in the meme coin craze, right? But so trying to hit the lottery, right, with gambling there. But utilizing DeFi for getting more stable yields is lower in terms of wallet diversity, right? You have big whales utilizing it, of course, but let's say more retail participants are less aware of the possibilities there, right? And it could be that the users are having trouble finding opportunities, evaluating risks, right? And AI and AI agents potentially can enable crypto and non-crypto users to easily participate. What's the promise of DeFi or DeFi? It's speed and efficiency, tireless operations, 24/7 operations, complex pattern recognition due to AI integrations, democratization of those sophisticated strategies. But the crucial for us is the transparency and verifiability. And this is one that we really shouldn't be forgetting about, the D in DeFi, the decentralized part. Because with the rapid market development and evolution, right, everybody tries to develop fast, and building decentralized, trustless, usually is complicated, right? So projects take the shortcuts to deliver, and usually they take the shortcuts right, where it's crucial on the trustlessness and decentralized part. They made the compromises there because those are the difficult parts. And in the end, we are still back in the situation where users need to trust the projects the devs won't rug. And here, we built WT3 to kind of showcase that it is possible to build trustlessly. It's operating autonomously while proving integrity. It's built our on-chain and off-chain confidential computing stack, so Sapphire and ROFL, and it enables execution integrity, data confidentiality, and remote stations. So the components of WT3, it's Oasis ROFL, of course, is the key pillar, the key component. It's there for the integrity and variability. It's running within the ROFL app. We use the Imperial Agent SDK, which is a partner project that's deployed on Sapphire as well, for the X engagement. It offers a lot more, the framework itself, but for now we're using it just for the engagement. We'll be involving the agent to do more with that framework. We're using Ocean Predictor, which is also a partner project that's built on Sapphire for part of the trading signals, and Hyperliquid is the trading venue currently W3 will be trading on. Here, how it works, a simple graphic, right? We get some signals from Predictor. We trade on Hyperliquid. We then post about the trades on X. and then we're using the profits from the trading to buy back and burn rows through our native DEX Nebby on Sapphire. It's basically how WT3 is bringing back value to the Oasis ecosystem through the buyback and burn program. If I dive a little bit deeper into the individual components, we spoke already quite a bit about ROFL, but in this case, what allows the development of custom off-chain logic, right, with easy verifiable on-chain, verifiability on-chain through the TEs. And here, verifiability is key, right, because we're dealing with funds, right? Currently, there's going to be funding from Oasis, but we're going to be opening up to the general public as well to participate in the strategy. So we want to start building from the ground up in a way that it's not going to be problematic later down the line. The ROFL framework, as I said, abstracts away all the complexity around TEs and verifiability, and it even simplifies more with the upcoming ROFL marketplace or Oasis TE Cloud to make it easier for people deploying their apps. One key feature here that's also important with any agent that's dealing with wallets is the integrated key manager. So you're able to generate the wallet keys within the TE, right? So even the dev never gets exposed to the private key. I mean, there's always a but, right? And here, of course, if the dev makes the code reveal the private key, it can, but as we're talking about verifiability here, the code needs to be open source. So this is the same as somebody, you know, deploying a malicious contract that everybody can see that it has an exploit there. So, of course, nobody's going to use this agent if there's a visible compromise of the private key. And there's an on-chain log of all the enclave invocations by default, so everything's tracked on Sapphire. On Predictor and the trading strategy, so it utilizes Predictor to kind of add confidence to its long and short trades. Predictor built by Ocean, deployed on Sapphire, and it's basically you have Predictor agents submitting predictions in private on Sapphire, and then you can subscribe to those feeds, and those are the trading agents, and trade off of those predictions. The current actually between 51 and 54% on the major pairs, so it's not bad. Anything above 50, if you do quite a bit of trading, is quite good, and if you can manage the risk to the downside. So have a look and try it out. And then the X agent, as I mentioned, that's the Imperial Agent SDK. It enables us to have those autonomous AI agents with skill-based systems. It's actually integrated with Oasis Sapphire for some wallet abstraction on their end as well. It actually powers already the platform Simulacrum, which was quite popular end of last year. I think you could use Simulacrum to create your own tokens through just Twitter posts or tweeting at Simulacrum. And we are looking at future integrations between Imperial and ROFL. Yeah, so follow Imperial and us if you want to learn more about this. If we look at the WT3 roadmap, we're starting with the 100K initial capital from the Oasis Foundation. We're going to be trading on Hyperliquid, but we're going to be expanding to other venues as we go along as well, and as we deploy different strategies. And as I mentioned, profits will be used to buy back and burn rows. The second stage coming up next will be like a staking or a vault contract where people will be able to deposit their own funds and participate in the strategy. And then the third step is with the ROFL marketplace and templates, people will be able to deploy their own agents, having completely own system and basically deploying very seamlessly without any real coding here. So for future partners, the wolf, as we call WT3, is always hunting for alpha. So if there are projects, that offer market insights or new venues for trading or other protocols, that enable some yield-generating opportunities to reach out. We're always on the hunt for that. And if I close out with just a few key takeaways here, for us, verifiability is key to everything in crypto. The original ethos, don't trust, verify, we hope will live on. The ROFL framework is the framework that enables, combining on-chain and off-chain compute in one verifiable stack. And we believe the future belongs to the agents that can think privately but prove their integrity. W3 is an example of that, showing the way. So thank thank you for that. Stay connected with us. Oasis.net is the website. W3 is the agent's website, or follow it on agent_W3. It's going to start trading very soon, posting very soon. And here are my Telegram and X handles, and my email if you want to reach out, or just grab me after the talk and we can speak. And just one last thought, right, from the Human Torch and Ironman. The Human Torch is all about, centralized because it's faster, right? But Ironman is, decentralized because it's better for the people. Thank you very much.
Cool.
Any questions?
Thank you very much. Yeah, we can put the Slido up. So we're first going to get through these questions, and then we're going to move some chairs at the back. So we'll do this first. So the top one, or the one at the top, is what are the applications of this that you're most excited about? Sure, crypto trading's a thing, right?
I mean, is this for ROFL or just general? Because if it's for ROFL, for me, it's going to be definitely agents, because you can have so many different use cases there. Of course, ROFL has other use cases beyond that. You can have trustless oracles, trustless bridges, all that. But to me, agents trading, DeFi, this is also where I got stuck in 2020, I guess. Never followed the other crazes, but DeFi, I think, is one of the cornerstones of crypto. So anything related to DeFi will, I think, be big, coming up in the next few years.
Looking forward to it. Is the trading of WT3 open and verifiable?
Yeah. So the strategy is private. Because of course, if you put it out there, you lose all the edge. But it's containerized away from the agent, right? So you still have the verifiability, integrity of the wallet and the agent, so the verifiability of the agent doesn't change if you change the strategy, right? Because you want to ensure the integrity of the wallet. That's crucial here. Of course, one can say, through the trading strategy, the agent can lose money, right, and can argue that way. Yes, I guess so, but it's going to be hard because people will be investing based on the track record, on the history of it, right? So if you're going to be, trying to have a good track record, I mean, it's the same with everything. There's a certain reputation you want to build. I think we saw this with Hyperliquid and their vaults and how they're doing it there. And I think it's going pretty well. And we believe that, a similar system through agents that enables multi-venue trading will emerge here as well.
All in good time. Well, then I guess, how can we use the trading agent? But I think you described that, right? Yeah,
so the trading agents, the next step will be that people will be able to deposit their own stables to participate in the strategy. So that's going to be pretty on auto mode. But then if they're going to want to deploy their own, right, we're going to make it super easy so they can use a template, potentially modify the strategy a little bit to their liking, and then run it within the Oasis DE cloud, as we kind of call it.
Yeah. Cool. I'm going to let you pick
with
2 questions.
Yeah, that's the lead engineer of ROFL. I mean, when we started ROFL, it was all about memes, and it was just a fun one. It goes well with the runtime off-chain logic, but it's a memorable. ROFL is kind of a memorable name. Yeah.
Cool.
Not everybody likes it, but yeah.
Any other questions on here that you want to answer? There's some down the bottom that aren't on the screen.
Pump money for free, huh? I mean, the trading strategy is private, so you can deploy it, but then you need to create your own strategy. People like the T-shirt. Thank you. Our designers are doing a great job. I know. Go off, okay? Cool. I'll go off in a sec. Anything else?
Well, I was going to try something which was put up something that people can write free text in, which is what are the applications of AI that you want to see based off of what you've just seen. And if you haven't done the chairs, now's a good time to do it while we get everyone writing. And have you done it already? No? Do it quickly now, and then we'll see what people want to say about this, and then we'll go from there.
Cool.
Give people a couple of answers. But I think for now, we'll see what they come up with, and hopefully that's inspiration. But for now, then, we can give a round of applause. Thank you very much.